This is the Garmin InReach Mini. In one of my previous videos, I said how I take this with me on pretty much every single backpacking trip. And that's mainly because of safety. You never know when you're gonna get injured and you can't walk yourself out of the backcountry. But aside from safety, there are some cool features on this guy, and that's what I wanna go through with you all in today's video. So what are the actual ways that you can use the Garmin InReach Mini? And there are basically 4 big features on this. That is the SOS, that is text messages, maps, and also a tracker. So the first big one is the SOS function. I feel like that's what a lot of people have questions about with this, and I want to go through a few of those things. I don't have all the answers, but I will do my best to explain the SOS function. So SOS is something that you use for absolute emergencies, where you are unable to walk yourself out of the trail or the backcountry, wherever you are, or something that is life-threatening situation. The SOS function does require a subscription to activate. It will not work without a subscription. And I'm gonna get more into subscriptions later on in this video, what the options are, all that stuff. So how it works is you flip open the little cover on the side of this and you hold this button down for about 5 seconds. I'm not gonna do it now. I've never had to do that and hopefully never will have to do that. But you hold it down for about 5 seconds and on the screen it will let you know that the SOS button has been activated. Garmin will immediately contact your emergency contact who you should have set up before the trip. You will also be able to text message back and forth with Garmin and explain your situation. Garmin will also contact the local search and rescue for whatever area that you are in. It will send them your location and it's actually accurate to 5 to 10 meters of where you are, which is pretty darn accurate and I think pretty cool. The response time for this really depends on where you are and what kind of situation you're in. Like, you never know what it could be if you're on top of a mountain or inside some canyon, whatever it is. Could be anywhere from 2 hours to 2 days. And the big question is, how much does it cost to press the button? And there really is no one size fits all to that question. The cost of having search and rescue come get you is up to the local laws and regulations on where you're at. In general, you're not going to pay for the actual rescue. You pay for all the other stuff. So for example, let's say you broke both of your legs and you're stuck on the side of some cliff and cannot walk yourself out. You won't pay for the people to come and get you off that cliff and take you out, but you would pay for the ambulance ride to the hospital. And also you pay for all the hospital bills, all that kind of stuff. Or let's say like a helicopter comes and gets you. You shouldn't have to pay, or in most cases won't have to pay for the helicopter to airlift you out of the situation. But if that helicopter drops you off at an ambulance, again, you'd pay for the ambulance ride to the hospital and all the hospital costs. But like I said, there's not a one size fits all to that question. Homemade Wanderlust 2 is one of the, probably like the biggest backpacking channel on YouTube, got a $60,000 bill from her helicopter rescue when she had to actually press the SOS button while she was in the Sawtooth Wilderness in Idaho. Now, she explains in her video that some states like California and Idaho have some legislation in place where they can charge you for helicopter rescues if you're doing something reckless. That's also a very vague kind of term. If you want a more detailed explanation of what actually happens when you press this button, I highly suggest watching Homemade Wanderlust video on that because it's a first-hand account of what actually happened to her. I'll have that video linked in the description and at the end of this video. If you're concerned about how much it would potentially cost you if you do have to use the SOS, I'd suggest checking with the local laws and regulations based on where you're going to be beforehand, just so you're kind of informed on what would happen if you press the button. The second main feature on this is text messages. You can actually text with this thing, which is pretty darn cool, and one of the reasons why I love it. What's cool is that it does not require any cell service. It sends messages through satellite, through the GPS. You will pre-program your contacts before you head out for your trip, and you can choose to either send to everybody or to individual contacts. All of this is done on your phone through the Garmin app, which is called EarthMate. You just like Bluetooth pair this device to your phone, and you can basically control everything on this through your phone. That's where you type your messages like you would normally. And then the messages send through the InReach device. It doesn't send through your phone, it's all sent through the GPS. So there's a few different options for texting with this guy. There are check-ins or pre-programmed messages. These are things that you write out beforehand, before your trip, have them pre-programmed, and they're just things like, I'm heading out for the day, or I got to my campsite, I'm safe, or whatever variation. You can set up to 3 programmed messages, and I use this for exactly what it's for checking in with my family. So when I leave for the day, I send a message saying that I'm heading out, and then when I get to my camp and I'm safe, I send a message saying that I'm safe and at camp. And you can also do normal custom messages like you would with texting on your phone. You can just write out messages right then and there. It'll send through the device. One thing that I want to make clear is that the check-in messages are sent through the device, so you can see them on the screen right now. So you send them directly from this device, not from your phone. I've never had any issues with this thing not sending messages. It definitely works better if you have a clear view of the sky and no tree cover. Sometimes it can take a decent amount of time, like maybe 5 or 10 minutes. But for the most part, I've never had any issues with them not going through. All right, the next big feature on this is maps. And again, this is something that you would just view on your phone through the Garmin app. They have topographical maps that are based on your country and the state that you're in. And before you head out for your trip, you need to download the specific state that you're in. If it's California, whatever, Nevada, or in my case, Wisconsin, where I live. I did make that mistake when me and Ashley went to the Porcupine Mountains. I forgot to download Michigan before that trip, but luckily we found a place where I could get service. I could download the map, but we had to sit there for like 15 minutes while the map downloaded. But what's cool with this is that it is pretty detailed. Like usually you can see the exact trail that you're on the map. Garmin keeps it pretty updated, which is nice. But there's other features like your distance, your elevation, your travel speed, and your heading. All of that stuff is shown up on the map screen. What's also kind of cool is that you can place waypoints. It'll put a little flag and then you can label those based on what it is. Like, for example, put a waypoint down, label it campsite 1, and then you travel the next day, put a waypoint, campsite 2, whatever you want to do, that's completely up to you. The fourth feature, which I think is the coolest and one reason I really love this, is because of the tracker. So this will place a dot based on where you are at that interval, and then also make a line between the dots so you can literally see the path that you're walking. Depending on the subscription level that you have, it will place a dot every 10 minutes or up to every 2 minutes. You can also change that to even longer if you want to have them spaced out further. This is super cool because you can literally see the path that you're walking on the map. But also through Garmin's Map Share, everyone that you have added to your Map Share can watch that at home on their computer. Map Share is where you add your contacts and they can go in and literally look at your map and follow where you're walking as well. Same thing that you see on your phone, they will just see it on a computer version. It's a super cool feature, and I know that my parents also really like that. When I was hiking through Glacier National Park back in 2019, they could pretty much literally watch where I was walking throughout the day and check in on me that way to make sure I keep on moving. There is one more feature on the main app screen, and that is a compass. It's just a compass that you would use for compass things. So next thing with this is, how does it communicate? And like I said, it uses satellite. It is through the Iridium satellite network, which as far as I know, that is one of the best, if not the best, satellite networks. I don't know all the details, but that's what I've heard. Iridium covers basically the entire globe, so for the most part, you can use this thing no matter where you are on planet Earth. And last big question with this is, how much does it cost? So for starters, this guy is going to run you $400 for just the device, and it's more than just that. You also require a subscription to use pretty much anything on this, any of the features that I just detailed. And there are 3 different levels of subscriptions you can get. So the first one is their safety subscription, and that costs $15 per month. You get unlimited SOS uses, you get 10 custom messages per month, and you get unlimited check-in messages. Those are those preset messages that you set up before. You get unlimited number of those. Their second level of subscription is their recreation subscription, and this is the one that I choose. It costs $35 per month. You get unlimited SOS, up to 40 custom text messages per month, unlimited preset check-in messages, and you get the tracker. This is the reason I choose the subscription. You get to use the tracker in up to 10-minute intervals. Their third subscription is their Expedition subscription, and that costs $65 per month. This one you basically get unlimited everything. Unlimited SOS, unlimited custom messages, unlimited check-in messages, and you get to use the tracker in up to 2-minute intervals. I've never used the 2-minute one, I've always used the 10-minute one, I've never had any issues. I think the 10-minute interval works just fine. And with all of these options, you can cancel at any time. There's no like yearly contract sort of thing. You can just cancel whenever you want. So what I do when I go on a trip is I will activate the recreation subscription, pay that $35 for the month, go on my trip, and then when I get back, if I have no other big trips coming up, I'll suspend my subscription and not pay anything again until I decide to activate it once again. There is still one more fee with this guy, and there is an annual program fee for $35 per year. So even if you don't have an active subscription, you will still need to pay the $35 a year for this guy. If you don't pay that, I think as far as I know, you're just gonna kind of like lose all of your data. So if you want to keep all that data, you'll need to keep on paying the $35 per year. So it is a decent amount of money in order to use this thing and to keep using it, but it is a very nice tool to have because you can see your location, you can track where you are, you can message your family, and there is the SOS function just in case of emergencies. So that's everything I have on the Garmin InReach Mini. This is a very good device to have, and I definitely suggest it if you're going to be doing any sort of recreation out in the backcountry. I hope that you learned something in this video. If you did, please give me a like, as that's going to help get this video out to even more people who are looking to learn about the Garmin InReach Mini, and you'll be supporting me as well. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in my next video.